and welcome back to another episode of Cranky Conrods, where today you join me again in the bunker shed, where we are currently going to go ahead and strip down a 1.8 tdci Ford Focus Mark II 115 horsepower turbo. Now, the actuator in the turbo, it has completely and utterly seized solid. We have a fault code for low boost. I can't remember what the P code was now exactly for it. So I've took the actuator off, the electronic actuator, and got a pry bar on it, and it does try to move, but it's nowhere near as smooth as it needs to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it apart and see if we can't do anything with it, because the gentleman doesn't want to really pay out for a brand new turbo. You know, if we can fix this for like 100 quid, then, you know, quid's in. Because a turbo for one of these, just for the turbo alone, is 250 quid, £280. Then you've got the core charge and everything else on top. So, you know, he doesn't want to go down the line on that, on a car that's low mileage. You know, to me and to you guys, it probably would be worth doing, but to him, it's just, you know, it's just a car to him. It's just a means of getting from A to B. So I'm here today, you know, I'm not going to charge the gentleman for doing this, because, you know, we've got to look after our own, and the gentleman is, you know, he's a kind bloke. He looks after other people other than himself, and, you know, it gets a bit, you know, a bit sentimental. You know, we're going to try and look after our own. So I said to him that I'd have a look at it for him, and the car is as wet and, you know, it's as flat as a wet fart. And, you know, the guy doesn't drive over 25-30 miles an hour. I just hope to God that we don't get him a speeding ticket if we can sort this out. So we're going to give it a service off camera, because, you know, I'm not going to bore you guys with a service video on how to do a Mark II diesel. So without much more ado, we're going to spin you around, get you onto the temporary bench, because we are currently you know, sorting this place out so it looks a little bit more video friendly for you guys. And I'm going to get you in there, get it stripped down, get it apart. Let's see what we can find. Hopefully not too many gremlins. And we'll get it done for him. See you in a minute. So as you can see, we've got the turbo out on the bench. Now, this is your turbo actuator. This is the wastegate. And as you can see, it is solid. So what we're going to do is going to drop you down to here. Look, we're going to undo these. There's about 4 or 5 go around the outside. Then we're going to split the turbo and have a look in. And I'll join you back when I find the stuff to start stripping this down. And sadly, I know you're a bit far away, but what we're going to do, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 mils go around the circumference. Let me just move this a bit closer to you guys. There we go. So here you go. You've got 1. They look like this. 10 mil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it goes round this section of the turbo, and there we go. It's gone tight. So what we're just going to do is we're just going to keep wriggling it until it starts actuating freely, like that. We're just going to whiz this 10 mil out, like so. Thing and thing, and I'll get you back in a second after I've taken the 5 bolts out. But do remember, if you're doing this for yourself, to remember exactly how the rear bracket goes here. Now, you are going to be rather annoyed when you put this back together and this is in the wrong place. So do mark it exactly which way it goes, how it goes, so you don't, you know, kind of screw up in this department. You know, it's easily done. I have done this in the past, my very self. So, you know, it is what it is, but, you know, try not to get this bracket up, because that will make your day a bad day. Anyway, I'll get you back in a minute once I've stripped out the other few more 10mm bolts. Right, so I've disconnected the 5 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're just gonna just lightly give a bit of pressure. I might even go ahead and just, if I can, which I can't, find my little hammer, which is here somewhere. So we're just going to get our little rubber mallet. Oh, noisy thing. Give it a couple of shocks. Right, I'll get you back. Right, so as you can see, I have split the turbo. Now, the turbo is a little bit stiff, but nothing too untoward in. In here is pretty clean. You know, shows signs of basically it's been sat, which is exactly what this car has done. It's been sat. So this was a little bit of a donkey's rear end to get off. Whatever you folks do, do not be tempted to put a screwdriver through here and prise them apart that way. You will damage the mating surface and you will be in a world of hurt, and you will be putting a new turbo in. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're more interested in this part here, where the actuator comes into, as you see here, and it comes in to the back of there, look. So, and he is seized up solid. So what we're going to do is we're going to strip down a bit more. Hopefully these come out and we can get this actuator unseized and we can have a functioning turbo again. So within a minute I'll get you back once I've got in there and had a good screw around and figured out what's what. Right, so I'm currently bathing it in my concoction of penetrating fluid. It has actually started to free up. I couldn't get the Torexes out of the turbo casing. I'm not going to try and force them, because if they snap, again, like I said, we're doing this job for free, and I really just don't want to you know, be buying him a turbo for this car. So we're just going to keep on pressing forward. We'll get that unseized. We'll get the blowtorch out in a minute and just heat the casing up, and without getting into the oil seals inside, and trying to get this actuator freed up a bit more, because as you can see, I can't really do it with one hand, but now it is actually moving. So let's see if it will for you. I'm going to do it for me now. You're going to be mean because I've got one hand. It's quite difficult to do it one-handed and show you folks. So, like I said, it's my concoction of penetrating fluid, and it works wonders for me. And I'll get you back in a minute when I got this a bit more unseized, and I cleaned it up a bit more. Right, so after some time, we have actually managed to get this to be moving. So, you know, it's not 100% perfect from where I would say it was, but it's 100% better than what it was. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put this back together, put it back in his car for him, and, you know, put some stuff in the turbo and that when it's running, and see if we can't think. But anyway, well, I'll get started putting this back together with you guys, you know, because we got the seal ring and everything to go back in there. The seal ring, it's got to go back in, and as you can see, I've wiped off. There we go. There's my mark that I've put on there. Look, and that tells me how to put it back together and where to put it back together. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get this back together, back as a whole, and we will finish the video then. Right, so as you can see, there's my mark, there's my marks, and there's my mark on the back of the turbo look. So now it all lines up perfectly. Now the actuator is actuating, but like I said, difficult to do one-handed, and I've just locked it up behind there. That's nice. Anyway, it does work, but see if I can get that off of there. There you go. See, it does work. So we've unseized it, we've freed it off. So what we're going to do is go back, put it on his car for him, and hopefully give it a bit of a push up the road and it'll free off a bit more. Like I say, folks, you know, I thought this video would be interesting for you, so I thought I'd tag you guys along. The guy doesn't want us to film the car, you know, the proceeds of taking it apart and whatever, for whatever the reason may be. Haven't got a problem with that. Like I say, the family members that I know, they just have a look at it, and I just thought it'd be interesting, so I tagged you guys along. If I could just get you guys to boost the like button and hit the subscribe button if this is the sort of stuff that you like. You know, there's going to be weird and more wonderful things to come in the future. Don't know what though, but we'll get there. So like I say, thank you all for coming, and I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Love to you all. Me out.